Welcome back to the tutorial series of Introduction to Node.js and Express. Today we're diving into the digital world of HTTP requests and responses. So first off, what is HTTP? It stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Think of it as a language that your browser and websites use to chat with each other. As you browse, this conversation is going on with a flurry of conversations and requests and responses. Now, when building apps with Express, it's all about direction, or in tech terms, routing. Imagine a digital traffic officer guarding requests down different paths to your server. So now that we know what HTTP is and we have a general understanding of routing, let's go and code some routes and see what they do. So with our code editor open, I'm using Visual Studio Code for this. Let's open up a new terminal and we're going to run npm init. I'm just going to do -y and that will just say yes to every single question for us. We're also going to create a new file and that's going to be called index.js. And inside this file, we want to create an API server. So in Express, routes are created to manage different HTTP request methods. They're targeted towards a specific path. So the different methods that we can use are get, post, delete, patch, and a few others. For this example, we're going to be using the get requests. Inside the terminal now, let's run npm I and install Express. So once that's installed, inside the package.json, we should now see dependencies of Express. So inside the index file, we can create const called Express, and that will be equal to require Express. We then want to initialize Express as an application here. So our app variable will be equal to Express. And we're going to create a single endpoint called app.get. And we're going to have this path just as a slash. And that's going to take in a request and send out a response. And here we can see we're just going to send a hello world text. And with that endpoint created, underneath we need to tell the API to listen on a specific port. So we're going to use port 3000, and then we're just going to console log out that this is working on port 3000. So let's just test this is working. To do that, we can run node and then dot in the terminal, and we can see the example app is listening on port 3000. So then if we open up a browser to localhost 3000, we should get our hello world message here. So that's just a simple get request here. So this tutorial is about requests, which we've seen here, but it's also about routing. So let's now create a new endpoint, and we say app.get. And this endpoint, let's say it's called users. So /users /semicolon user ID. Okay, that will take in a request and a response. And then what we can do here is we can actually access that user ID parameter inside the route. So for now, what we can do is we can send that back to the user. So request.send, and then the user ID is equal to request.params user ID. Now I've used backticks here, and that's so I can use this dollar and these open curly brackets to access this variable inside of this string. You can do this slightly differently. So if we had the normal single quotes here, we'd get rid of the last one. We'd have a single quote here and then a plus, and then we just get rid of these curly brackets. And that's doing exactly the same thing. It just looks a lot nicer. And you don't have to keep putting those pluses in and keep closing and opening new strings. So with this being said, let's close off this endpoint. We'll click save. Let's close down the application here and then restart it. And let's open up a new browser window. And if we were to look at localhost 3000 /users /123, we get returned that the user ID is 123. Let's test with coding -nexus. Hit enter, the user ID is coding nexus. So you can see that we're using this parameter in the URL here. So everything we've been doing at the moment has been just returning a string. But what if we want to return an actual object? So to do that, let's remove this string here. And let's say res.json. And then let's create an object. We'll say user ID will be equal to request.params user ID, and we'll say name will be equal to coding nexus. If we hit save and restart our application, if we reopen up our browser and give it a refresh, we can now see that we have an object here that we can use. So user ID is coding nexus, name is coding nexus. Let me just change this to 123, just so we can see that that user ID is being used there. So web apps are all about conversations, and with Node.js and Express, you're equipped to manage these digital dialogues effectively. The world of server-side coding is waiting for your exploration, and with every route you create, you're paving the way for more complex and dynamic interactions. If you'd like to learn more about JavaScript, check out this video here, and if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.